Anybody that is doing something abnormal or exceptional is going to receive hate. I have strong opinions and beliefs about stuff, and I share those candidly out in the public, and that's polarizing.
Your customers are really ultra high net worth individuals, and you're able to target these people.
It's been roller coaster. We started on Twitter and then migrated to all the other platforms, and I don't see it slowing down. It's been great.
What percentage of your business comes from YouTube?
I would say that probably
Jake, it's amazing to have you on. We want to talk about how Jake Claver became Jake Claver. Right? So top think tank on crypto. You scaled your company like crazy with content, obviously. We'll also get super quickly into some controversies. A lot of people on Reddit can be salty, sometimes make accusations, but there's even more people who really trust your word, and this led to extremely strong growth of all your companies. And obviously I also want to give a disclaimer that we're the agency that's producing the content for you, for Jake, and we're coming up with video ideas, writing scripts, editing and things like that. But let's get right into it, man. Do you remember the time when people didn't know you? Obviously you remember. So take us back. Where did it all start?
I'm just a regular dude. I'm not any better than anybody else, or I don't view myself as somebody special. I like helping other people, and I like helping educate people on different subject matter. But really, my journey kind of started in video in 2020. I started getting on Facebook and just doing morning little live streams, and I hated the sound of my own voice, and it was very uncomfortable, and they were not good, and nobody watched them, and nobody cared. And it took a long time. I mean, we're 2026 now, right? So I started doing those. It was probably February, March of 2020. So I've been doing this for 6 years, and you continue your presence on camera, your ability to communicate, all those things, your ability to articulate ideas. It gets better and better the more that you do it. Anything you practice on a consistent basis is going to get better. So, originally started doing it there, and then I had a small little group of people that, they understood that I had some unique knowledge and participated in a small community. And then I got on Twitter and started doing Twitter Spaces on a consistent basis. And then I migrated from that over to YouTube, and I did a few YouTube videos early on, just trying to do it myself without software and, with crappy lighting. I'm on my laptop today. Normally I'm on my 4K camera when we shoot content for you guys, and met my business partner, Max Avery, in late 22 and early 23. He really kind of catapulted our ability to, get to market with this stuff in a much more professional manner than I had done in the past. And he was like, your information's good. We just got to make sure it looks good and it sounds good for other people. That way they'll watch it. Otherwise, it's going to be some people that would have watched it if it was good quality are just going to dismiss the video. And that's, a big part of what you guys do, right? Like keeping people engaged, the way that you structure the videos and the cut-ins on the scenes and stuff, make it dramatic, the music in the background. There's a lot of things that if you're not a good video editor, you just don't know how to do, right? Or it takes you a long time to do. So it's been great working with you guys. I think we started the relationship maybe about a year ago. And prior to that, Max was doing a lot of the editing. We had some people on Fiverr that we worked with, and they would do a little bit of the editing. But we've kind of seen an exponential growth toward the middle of last year. We had, the way that I was able to kind of establish some presence was people were nice enough to have me on their podcast and in front of their audience, whether that was on YouTube or Spotify or some of the other channels. And most people will, if you reach out and ask and you say, hey, you want to be on my podcast, you shoot your shot. And sometimes there have been plenty of people that told me, no, I don't have time for you, or you don't bring enough value. You don't have a large enough audience. There's a lot of that in the industry also. But if you're consistent and you're consistently putting out content and it's good and it's, curated in a way that's consumable for other people, then eventually you'll gain traction. Most podcasts, people never make more than 20 episodes. It's like 99% of people never make more than 20 episodes of the podcast. So you're literally in the top 1% if you just do more than 20 episodes. You could do that in less than half a year, even if you were going at a slow pace. And again, the whole point of that is the repetition is what builds the muscle that allows you to communicate better and for people to be able to relate to what you're doing. I've worked in sales the majority of my life, and so I think that's kind of helped me just communicate with other people and do what we do. So that's kind of the background. Again, really didn't become relevant until maybe middle of last year for a lot of people. I was on Brad Lee's podcast. They were nice enough to have me on there, and that got us a lot of exposure. And we've really seen a huge uptick in visibility since being on his show.
We're right now also talking to Mark Moss about doing YouTube. I think we should make the internet explode and do a Jake Claver and Mark Moss kind of interview.
That would be gangbusters. So we have another partner on the crypto side that works with him, Arch Lending. They created a Bitcoin product product with Mark. Yeah, would love that collaboration if he's open to it.
I want to unpack one thing because you said that you started on Facebook, right? And you started live streaming, you said. So what was this initial impulse? Because a lot of the people, they still are afraid. It's like hard to put yourself out there, right? And it's also weird. You said also the first couple of times when you were out there, it's like weird. You look back and it's like these videos are cringe, right? So like how did you get started? What was that impulse?
So I wrote down some goals at the beginning of 2020, and to reach those, I am more of like an OKR type person, so objectives and key results. And in order for those goals to be achieved, I had to become good on camera. I had to be able to speak publicly. I had to be able to command a room and be able to, run board meetings. Like there's a lot of public speaking, and I was scared, just so you know. Like I was never good at public speaking. My heart would race anytime I got up in front of a group of people. So if you're in that place and you're just getting started, like that is completely normal. That is the normal reaction that you would have. It gets better the more that you do it, right? And I knew that from other things that I had done. There's lots of times where I'll start something and I'm horrible. As an example, like when I first started playing golf, the first round that I ever actually kept track, I think I shot like 134. It's horrible. And that pissed me off, really. And I got really good. I was a +4 handicap before, I graduated high school. So it's just, again, repetition. You get better as you go. You learn things. And I knew that that's what I needed to do in order to be able to accomplish the goals that I had set for myself. And so I was like, all right, well, this sucks, but I'm going to force my way through it.
Yeah. And then I guess what you really did well is you just set an objective there and you upped the consistency, right? Which is something you said very correctly. Most people, they upload some pieces of content and then they give up. Usually the pieces of content are crap or there's no proper strategy behind it, and then they give up or they conclude YouTube is not for me or Instagram or whatever is not for me. So I think you did very well there. Obviously this fueled your content engine, and your content engine right now is fueling your business or your businesses. So tell us a little bit more about what is the business construct behind the scene, right? Because you're not an influencer. Like we're not getting you views just to be famous, right? Like you have a super clear objective on why you want these views.
Yeah, so we have, I'll get into the businesses, but I don't know if you watch Gary Vee much. I'm sure, your audience and other people probably do. Personal brands is going to be one of the largest things that you can do for yourself in any industry that you are in. If you have a personal brand that other people relate to, they know, like, and trust you, you're going to be able to advocate for whatever you want, and other people will find interest in it. It just happened, a lot of other influencers, like you said, that are out there have affiliate agreements. They have an audience and then they market to them and then they're able to receive income off of that. I never wanted to do that. I felt disingenuous about it. I always wanted to create additional value for people. And if they want to buy from us, awesome. That's really kind of how I think about it. And even if they don't buy from us, I just want people to be educated so that they can, if they're having conversations and they need the product, they're able to go to somebody else and ask the right questions to make sure that they're competent and capable of providing them. So that's the majority of the content that we put out. But on the back end, we have built multiple businesses off of the content that we've created. So we have a mastermind group that's got about 18,000 people in it. We have an end-to-end fund administration platform for SPVs. We run multiple private deals. We have scaled up a multifamily office practice that does private client solutions for people that are crypto investors or people who have a large allocation for their portfolio in crypto. And those are all things that I've wanted selfishly, right? That I built for myself. And then we have, created a solution or productized that where other people can participate and get the same benefits. And it is a funnel, right? People don't know you have something cool until you tell them you have something cool. So if you want to look at it like it's something skeezy, I don't view it that way. I view it like I'm letting other people know about what we have. What they do with that at that point is up to them. If they want to come work with us, awesome. But at least they're going to be educated, whoever they're going to work with, to make sure that they aren't being taken advantage of, and they're going to know what to ask them. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster. We started on Twitter and then migrated to all the other platforms, and I don't see it slowing down. It's been great.
No, I don't see you slowing down either. I think it also shows very nicely that you can really target anyone on YouTube. I mean, some of your customers are really ultra high net worth individuals, and you're able to target these people, right, with long form content on YouTube. What do you think about YouTube as a platform? Is it your favorite platform? How do you relate it to other platforms?
I just look at data, right? So the second most used search engine, number one's Google, number two is YouTube. And that's quickly changing with the AI, right? You have LLMs that are taking market share for that. But the majority of people that want to learn how to do something, anytime I want to learn something, I go watch a video, right? And at this point, there's so much democratization of access to information where people are professional professionals and have competency in certain areas, and they've made content. Like if I want to fix something on my car, I just go watch a YouTube video. I don't call a mechanic anymore unless it's more I watch the video and I'm like, this is too complicated. I don't have the tools. And then I know I need to call a mechanic, right? But I think so many people consume video content on a regular basis. Audio is a little bit different. People like radio, right? There was a reason that radio got so big when it did. And people can imagine that person that's speaking. There's not a visual component to that. So it resonates on a different level. But video content, I think, is going to continue to be instrumental in any marketing for any corporation at a large level. And again, personal brands. Gary Vee talks about AI influencers kind of being the next iteration of this. So you have a talk show with you and an AI. He's called everything right up to this point. So I'm not going to argue with him. If you don't have that component, I think you're going to be left behind, and it's huge.
Do you know what percentage of your business comes from YouTube?
So we're across YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and then there's a few other social media platforms that are coming back. Parler's here in Dallas. They're relaunching. You want distributed, across all of them, because not everybody uses every single platform, and somebody consumes more content on certain ones versus others, depending on how they learn things or what they're looking for. So I would say that probably 30 to 40% of our business comes from YouTube. Most of the people in my demographic, so millennials, tend to watch a lot of YouTube, but there are older folks that do as well. Facebook tends to be the platform for boomers at this point. There's a lot of people that are a bit older that use Facebook on a regular basis. Instagram's pretty diversified. TikTok is also really diversified. You have people very young and people very old on TikTok. But if you're targeting millennials or maybe Gen X, I would say YouTube is probably the preferred platform for the majority of that demographic.
But I completely agree with what you said earlier. I mean, you need to play this game on multiple channels. Obviously, if you're just by yourself or your marketing department is completely stretched, then sure, just tackle one channel first and then kind of think about the next ones. But the ultimate game is to be dominant on all of these channels, because people who know Jake Claver, they probably don't just watch you on YouTube. They watch you on YouTube and then they get shown a reel on Instagram, right? And then they see a tweet on X. And what all of this does, it increases your mind share, right? In people's mind, when they think about XRP, when they think about, what should I do with my millions of crypto, they're like, okay, there's this Jake Claver guy, right? That's why also our agency, I guess what we started doing is positioning ourselves as a content agency rather than just a kind of YouTube agency, right? YouTube is where we came from and that's where we're good at. But the nice thing is all of these skills that we have internally in our team, they translate extremely well across the whole spectrum of all social media channels, right? Writing great hooks, coming up with great titles, thinking about how the hell do I capture the attention of people that are, addicted to scrolling.
Yeah, how do you get them to stay on your post?
Exactly. How do I get them to stay? How do I get them to watch the whole thing, whether it's a YouTube video or it's Instagram reel or a TikTok short? There's a lot of parallels there.
In a sales cycle for most people, and I'm this way too, I need, 7, 8 touch points at a minimum, seeing somebody in order to develop some level of trust or understanding of what they do. Because to your point, you scroll through things, you might listen to a little bit here and there, and you don't consume the whole content. So if you're not in front of them on all of these social media platforms, irrespective of which one they're on, that's just going to be a faster way for them to be able to see you that many times and then go, okay, maybe I do want to check this stuff out, and kind of click through and see if it's something they want to work with or they're interested at all. If you're only exposed to it one time and it's in passing, you're probably the likelihood that you're going to convert or people are going to want to understand more is very small.
And then you already gave us props, but I give you the opportunity to give it to us again. So how did we improve your content game? Jake?
I mean, so since you guys have done the videos, we've had the highest view rates of anything we've ever produced by orders of magnitude, right? So I think the highest video that we ever had when we first started working with you guys was maybe 60,000 views. And at this point there's one video that's got almost 1 million views on it. This is short. And then we have, many other long form that are over 200,000-300,000 views on the channel. The watch time is up substantially. The ability to retain attention across the full video has gone up substantially. It used to be, everybody would drop off around 10 minutes and we'd have a low retention rate after that for the long form. And since you guys have come on, I think we're up to 30 or 40% that people watch the whole video, which is fantastic. So yeah, to your point, the hooks, the changing of the scenes, the graphics, how things are curated on the copy makes a big difference in retaining people's attention and scaling, whatever channel you're trying to scale.
I remember when we took over, I think it was literally the first video or the second video that we produced. It became the highest watch watched, like the most viewed video on the channel. And it even sparked controversies on Reddit, people accusing us of buying fake views.
Yeah.
Which of course is ridiculous because you can see it in the analytics that people actually watch the video and it actually converts into business. But that was the first time in my career that I got this accusation. So it was like an honor.
You know?
Yeah, it was a bit of a compliment.
It was kind of a meteoric deal. Like, it happened very quickly. I try to put out pretty good information that's easily understandable by the average person, and to have the visual effects around that and it be curated the right way to be able to retain people's attention, I think, the combination of those two was perfect.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about skepticism. You have this like Reddit crowd, you have other people, and it seems like they're like very skeptical, not just towards you, but towards XRP, towards like certain theories and crypto. Where does this come from? This like almost hate sometimes.
Well, I don't think it's any different than any other industry, right? Until something's been around for a long time, and even if it has been around for a long time, you're not going to be able to make everybody happy. I have strong opinions and beliefs about stuff, and I share those candidly out in the public, and that's polarizing, and it sparks debate. And I'm cool with like respectful debate. There's always data points, new information that could be, helpful to me and my thesis. And if I receive enough of that, then I am able to change my opinion. And there's been lots of times where I said I was wrong, right? Like this is, what I think is going to happen, and that didn't play out that way. And I said, look, I messed up. I'm not perfect. I'm not, Christ or anything. We all make mistakes, but I have the courage to come out and talk about that. And sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. And I would say this, anybody that is doing something abnormal or exceptional is going to receive hate. That was another piece, right? Like with the videos and everything that we're doing, I'm like, I'm just going to have to put up with all of those things that come along with it in order to be able to help the people I want to help. And some people can't. Some people don't want to deal with that additional pressure or the comments or the keyboard warriors. I will say this, I've never been hated on by somebody that was ahead of me. The people that have the time, I don't have the time to even sit on the internet and troll other people or talk crap. I would challenge them to start making more content or producing more things in society than spending time tearing other people down, because it's not productive for either side. Constructive criticism, like I said, great. And I will take that all day long, but if it's profanity or derogatory or disrespectful or defaming, I'm not going to put up with that, and I don't pay any attention to it.
Okay, I just have a few last questions. The first one is, where are we heading? So if you look at 2026, 2027, Jake Claver, all your companies, obviously also your brilliant business partner, Max, what are you guys, what's the vision for the next months and years?
We're in the middle of the weirdest dichotomy happening in crypto right now. We're at extreme fear where fundamentals are at an all-time high. We're like 2001 on the internet after everything crashed right now in crypto. Yeah. And the opportunities right now in that asset class are extreme. I believe it's poised for a substantial adoption here in 2026 with regulations right around the corner here in the US. Those that are participating are doing exceptionally well. We are running ahead of everybody, making sure that we have all the systems, processes, products, solutions, working through those things to make sure that we're always 2 or 3 steps ahead. And we'll continue to do that over the long term. And I think we'll continue to scale at a very fast rate. At some point, that'll truncate. Right? Like you get to a high enough level, it becomes difficult to continue to build systems at scale, especially for wealth management, like client-to-client services or business-to-client services. But we're doing everything that we can to automate that and create solutions that we can bring to market that will democratize access to a lot of things. That's kind of at the ethos of what we do. Many people look at Tesla and, they just announced that the Roadster, or not the Roadster, but the Robovan and, the Robo-Taxi and some of these other ones are going to be like less than $40,000. A lot of people could afford that, and it's a self-driving car. Right, but they had to start with the Roadster, which was the most expensive thing that they ever produced in order to be able to generate the cash flow. So, we're working with a lot of high net worth individuals, family offices at this point, but over time, we want to create other products and solutions in the market that, democratize access to some of these same services at a much cheaper rate. Obviously, they won't be as bespoke as they are for the individuals and the families we work with now because it's curated and their situations are more complex. But, if you got access to financial products to be able to generate returns on your assets or borrow against them or have a regulated institution hold those assets to be able to protect them. We're going to continue to push that as far as we can to democratize access for people here in 26 and beyond.
Nice. That's a good vision. Then penultimate question. I need to ask you, man, like you're the XRP guy. So what's your prediction for 2026? Where are we heading, man?
I got trouble. Again, I can't give you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We employ financial advisors. If you want to go talk to them, they can tell you what to allocate and when to buy and all that stuff. I can tell you what I'm personally doing, and I continue to add to my position. I believe that, the long-term price appreciation of XRP is going to be exponentially higher than where it is today. And the utility of that asset over the duration is going to be, bar none, the most valuable asset on the planet, right? So whatever you want to do with that, and again, I'm just one guy on the internet. I would listen to a bunch of other people and figure out what your thesis is. But, for me personally, I continue to aggregate as much of it as I can.
Nice. Last question. This is a very, very serious one, Jake. So I want you to really think about it. Go deep. What's your bench press max?
I've never maxed out.
You look like you're maxing out, bro.
I do sets of 20. So the most I ever did for sets of 20 on incline, I did 325 for 20 when I was.
That's pretty fucking solid, man.
I was about 260 pounds when I did that. Yeah. It was at the end of 2019, early 2020. I'm way down from that now. I think I was like 227 this morning, and I can do 305 for about 10 reps. I don't ever do 1 rep max on anything.
Okay, I'll work on my bench press, and then when I get to your when I visit you guys, then we'll hit the gym together.
That'll be great, man. We have some really good ones here in Dallas.
The gyms in Dallas or in general in the US are just next level. Can't compare it to Europe or even Thailand.
Like a kid in a candy store.
All right, bro. It was a great interview. Thanks for all the information. Thanks for sharing it with us and the audience. And I'm looking forward to just producing much more cool content for you guys.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you for the partnership and looking forward to the future.